Okay guys, today is not about the Miata. I need to throw this wideband sensor in. Hopefully that fixes my wideband issue. I want to see how it looks on these 245s when I pull it out, but we're basically just gonna pull it out and we're gonna pull this Subaru in. We're finally gonna start working on the Subaru, which is super exciting. If you guys didn't see yesterday's video when we were doing the finishing touches on the Miata, I talked about the Subaru engine. We did start on it. I've got like half a video filmed. However, the timing belt tensioner threads ripped out, so we were not able to finish the engine. So while we're waiting on that, we're gonna jump onto the actual body of the car, getting the wiring harness in, getting the interior back in, all of that stuff. So, I mean, assuming we don't run into any major dilemmas with that kind of stuff, we should be able to get the Subaru done really quick, which I'm stoked about because I can't wait to drive that thing. But yeah, I'm gonna lift this thing up, throw the sensor in it, get it out of here, maybe go drive it around just to let it settle and see how cool it looks with the 245s. And then we're gonna push the Subaru in and get to work.
Dancing through the streets, we wander, falling for the fire. Burning at the heart, throwing hands up to the sky. Ooh, we live for the night. Ooh, here for the ride. I feel alive under the city lights.
So I got the wideband working on the Miata. It turns out, I don't think it was the sensor. I think the sensor was fine. When I drilled, or like ran a screw in to hold my shift boot down, I luckily somehow drilled right through the wires for the wideband. So it severed the signal wire. So I pulled the carpet up, reattached it. We're all good there. Went on a test drive. She has settled. See what I mean? She ends up nice and low, but it looks freaking tight like this. But enough about this car, enough about it. We've been talking about it for the past several days in a row because I've just been so excited about it being done. We're working on the Subaru today. So we got it inside. She is ready to rip. Well, she's far from ready to rip, but she's ready for us to rip on her. Right? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. All right, so yeah, we need to open our iWire box and we'll lay our harness out. That is step number one. I'm not much of an unboxing kind of guy, but we got some really cool stuff, so I'll show you guys what we got. This is from iWire Services. So they make a merge harness to merge from the GC chassis harness to the WRX EJ20 engine harness. What the previous owners of this car did, the previous builder of this car, they put the EJ20 in the WRX 03 WRX engine, and they just put the entire chassis harness out of the WRX in. Caused all sorts of weird issues. Ignition stuff didn't work right. Tons of power draws. Like most everything didn't work. None of the dash stuff worked. It was just not ideal. So this is basically taking the GC chassis harness and mating it with the EJ engine harness. So that is what iWire does. They're like the only people who do it. So they sent me a cool shirt, which I got to put on, some stickers. They sent me this radiator panel. So this just helps basically seal the radiator up and it looks cool. Super, super helpful guys. They walked me through kind of like every step of figuring out what I needed. Let's see. Ta-da! Wiring harness. All right, I'm gonna get this out of the box and lay it out and just kind of organize it so we know where we're at, where to start, etc. So I've got the harness all laid out. I'm just looking through some of the documentation. So I can get an idea of where everything goes before we start putting it in, because obviously once we get the orientation correct, it's kind of obvious by length and connector type and all that stuff. But without knowing where what goes, which part of it, it's kind of hard to tell where to start. So I'm gonna figure that out, and then I guess we're just gonna start tossing it in the car. Well, since this car had an 03 WRX harness throughout, it's kind of complicated putting this harness back in because it is different. They had the fuse box before hanging in the wheel well, so this is where it goes. We were able to find pictures of that to figure that part out, but we had no clue how to route it from there across. There's like no good way to do it, but it looks like it goes behind the AC condenser based on like the curves of it and how it comes back up through here and where the fan wiring comes out. So we think we've got that right, and the headlight wiring. So we think we've got that part of everything right, and it comes through here and then into the car. So I think we're sorted there. So now I guess we're gonna move, I mean, interior, yeah, because I think that goes all the way back to the taillights. And then this is our like under dash and all that stuff. So we're gonna start working on throwing that in because that's like the next big step, right, Ben?
I believe so.
We're just winging it.
Yeah, we have no idea what we're doing. Please
None.
comment below and tell us how stupid we are.
No, don't tell us that because we're gonna have already figured out how stupid we are. No, iWire has like a video on how to do it, but obviously you don't have to take out this part that I took apart. So they don't have a video on that because you don't need to take that part apart. But I did because I didn't realize that. Anyway, time to get back to work.
Ooh, here for the ride. I feel alive under the city light. Under the city light.
All right, well, we've hit a major roadblock. I was thinking about it, and I remembered that the steering column like bounced around in there, even when it was attached, and it's because there's no bushing where the shaft comes through the firewall. So like before we make any further headway, like let me check and make sure to see if that bushing's on the shaft, and we should push it in. But then looking at it, the small part of the shaft is outside the firewall, the big part of the shaft is inside, so that's wrong to begin with. So that needs to at least come in, which it should be able to, but we still don't have a bushing to use. So I need to figure out what steering column I have, what bushing I need, if I can find one that is just gonna fit. Do I need to get a bushing made? Like, I don't know. So I gotta do my research tonight. We'll get back on this tomorrow and do as much as we can. Like my goal is to have the whole harness in and the whole harness in and the interior back in by the end of tomorrow. So pick this back up in the morning. Good news. Crisis yesterday is averted. So I went on the Subaru GC8 Owners Club, whatever, Facebook page, which I will say, forums being dead kind of sucks because it was kind of a different time, and now with like Facebook forums, it's kind of a different thing. However, the speed in which you get responses on Facebook forums is like far greater than on a real forum. I mean, like it's like instant. So anyway, there's a guy named Christopher. He messaged me and was like, no, that's the GC column. That's the right column. You just need this bushing. He has one. He's sending it to me. Like, crisis averted. So, super stoked on that. I just noticed my clutch line. Oh, it's just because it's hanging. And that shit's like about to pop. Should probably change that. I might have I probably have a braided line somewhere I can use for that. Anyway, so we're going to get back to it. Just get back to throwing the interior harness in. So I need to throw the harness going to the rear, which is laying over there, in. So basically that'll run down here and back to the back, goes to the tail lights and all that stuff. That way I can hook this up to that, and then we'll start putting the dash bar in and the heater core, blend door setup, and the AC condenser and all that stuff. Or what would that be? Evaporator? I don't know AC terminology. Yeah, it looks like a mess. Shouldn't be too bad. I watched iWire's video like twice, but it's like I'd almost have to watch it as I was doing it, so I'm just gonna kind of wing it, and when I get stuck on something, I'll just watch the video and figure out what I need to do. So anyway, time to get back to work. Let's do it.
I feel alive under the city light.
So I'm having some trouble figuring out where a couple of things are with my rear harness. I can't continue forward with all this stuff because I can just unplug it if I need to change it, if I have the wrong rear harness or whatever. But while I'm waiting to hear back, just because I'd like to finish that up first, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this shifter off. It looks like somebody TIG welded it, or it just welded like that from the factory, but you can see how forward it is. And it makes for like a really goofy shifting position. So I am going to just cut it off and re-weld it straight up. So that is my plan of action for the moment. Gives me something to do.
I can see it all. The night will come when I call. The day is never too far away. Time will turn as I say. Ooh, we live for the night. Ooh, here for the ride. I feel alive.
All right, got her TIG welded up. Came out decent. I'm an idiot, and I started TIG welding it with the bushing in, and it started to melt the bushing out, but luckily I saved it. So we're gonna put this back in, and then I'm gonna make Ben help me finish doing the bulkhead harness under the dash and just get all that done. That's definitely the hardest part. So if we can get that done, get the dash and stuff back in today, I'll be happy. We could probably even put the carpet back in for the most part in the seats, because that harness runs across at least the dash and all that stuff. Just hate, like, it's tough when you do YouTube because you want to like complete a project for video's sake, and if you can't, it's like an extra bummer because you're bummed you can't finish the project, but then you're bummed because like the video is gonna suck because you didn't finish the project. It's just it's all around not fun situation. Anyway, back to work.
I feel alive. Another city light. Another city light. Another city light.
We are making some headway. We're getting all this wiring in and figured out, and we got the steering column bolted in. Okay, let me show you. This is so jank. So it's nice to buy somebody else's project because you generally get it for a lot cheaper than it would cost you to do it. The problem is you don't know what they did and didn't do wrong, and that's where we're at again with the steering column. So it looks like they've got the WRX shaft with the WRX U-joint. You can see how that's like a fine knurling and then or splining, and then that's a very coarse splining. And with the steering shaft bolted in, or steering column bolted in properly, it's way too long. So what I need to do is cut this joint here at this little like guibo thing that's just there for basically vibration resistance, and then re-weld it so it's short enough to go onto this. But then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, well, I should probably get the right knuckle part so it actually goes onto the splines correctly as well. So that's all up in the air. I got to figure that out. But at least I can weld, so I can weld it when I need to. Not a big deal. Just want to do it before we put the engine in. So I'm going to get back to lay wiring and getting the dash back in and all that stuff. So I'm going to start hooking up the stuff in the center and the stuff on the right, but I can't finish that up because I need to get the correct rear harness, which is these 3 plugs. So I need to make sure that they're at least accessible, but I can route everything else up here on this side. Got the AC stuff all plugged in, all bolted in. Yeah, we're moving along. Shifter is now straight up and down instead of tilted way forward, so that's good. Ben's loving life. He loves helping me, especially when it comes to wiring under dashes.
So much fun, man.
Right? Isn't it the most fun?
Dude, this is fun stuff, man.
Or is it fun, fun, fun?
Both.
So this is fun stuff and fun, fun, fun. I think that's a whole new level of Ben fun that we have yet to achieve. We have never achieved fun, 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 and fun stuff all in one sitting. So
I just want to go to the Dragon. That's all I care about.
yeah, we're gonna. I mean, our goal is to get this thing done and take it to the tail of the Dragon. So drive it there. So I'm trying to get Ben to get some sort of street Miata. He wants to build a street car anyway. So he gets a street car. I've got tires he can run on it. We can bring them up in this and just go up there and shred and like have fun. I had so much fun at the Dragon, and that's what inspired me to buy this car, was driving the Dragon. So we want to get up there, but we got to get the car done before we can get up there. So always have something to motivate you, an end goal in sight, and keep at it and don't give up. Earlier today, I was not having fun. Now I'm having fun-ish. There's always a solution.
Just because I'm here now.
That is because you're here and I'm not doing it by myself. Some things I can do, like the Miata, work on it all day by myself, no problems at all, doesn't bother me a bit. Like, can stay motivated most of the time. This thing, no. Definitely needed Ben to get me motivated. I was watching the video when we tore this car down because I wanted to see if we pulled the carpet out with the dash in or not. You know, because I want to get as much done as I can, but I don't want to do something I'm gonna have to undo, right? So I was looking and I'm talking at this spot. When you're talking about merging two harnesses together and making all this factory stuff work, and the Miata's parked right there when it was working. Subaru's parked right there. So it's just kind of funny, like when we took this car apart is when we had pretty much just gotten the Miata working and running and driving. And now we're putting this thing back together and we just got the Miata working and running and driving. It's just kind of funny. Just kind of funny. Look at how meaty that is. Meat. It's what's for dinner. All right, anyway, enough jibber jabbering. Let's get to putting the dash in. Whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. Say it, Ben.
Why?
Say it.
Whoop, whoop.
Hell yeah.
We're all fam.
We're all fam. All right, well, we have reached our stopping point, guys. We got the dash in and all of the hard wiring. All of the wiring under the dash is definitely the hardest stuff. I mean, that's the swap harness, getting it all ran through. You know, we've ran all the other harnesses. I've just got to swap that rear one. But, I mean, essentially all the wiring is done. My goal was to get the wiring done and get the interior completely buttoned up. So it was like install the engine and the radiator and all that stuff, go drive the car. But unfortunately, you know, things happen this way, and we didn't have. Presumably, we don't have the right rear harness. We could have the right rear harness, and I'm just missing something. You know, like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. There's a connector that I did find in that pot. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's a lot of things that it could be. But regardless, I'm happy that we got started back on this. The parts for the engine should be here soon. The parts for the car should be here soon. I really think we're going to be able to wrap this up within a couple weeks, which is sick. So hopefully the Miata holds together and doesn't delay us. Even if it breaks, I'm going to finish this first. I shouldn't even talk about this. Why am I talking about this?
It's gonna
Shut up, Ben. Shut up, Ben. We got to dry something now. She's a ripper.
I mean, that is true.
It's had great oil pressure
Drive
this old.
junkyard engines last forever, guys.
Don't jinx me.
I'm not jinxing you.
I mean, hopefully it'll last forever. That was the goal of the dry sump. I mean, it's a more complex system and it's expensive and stuff, but should never have an issue with oil pressure. So anyway, because that's kind of like the leading cause of engines dying. But anyway, I'm rambling. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to do something. I'll see you then. Bye.